Welcome, everyone, to the Central. We have Mike Langley with us tonight. We have Jay McNichols, myself, Joe Montaldo. We're still looking for a female host. I keep trying to get to talk to these two ladies, and my schedule has just been a bitch. Plus, I'm remodeling my house, which is always a nightmare. Man, we'll talk about that later in the show, but it's just been one of them things. So, Mike, how you doing? Jay, how y'all doing? Y'all doing okay? I see you still alive. That's a good sign. No one in New York blew you up yet. Well, wait, you in Pittsburgh, right?
Waynesboro. It's like the bottom of the center of the state.
Okay. Well, I know Mike's up there in Newark. He's in New York. He's in
upstate where the cornfields are.
I'm going to go party in my car around the corner.
They just whacked the cornfields in my back area, man. It smells all nice outside.
Let's not talk about cornfields. Hey, Chad, how you doing, man? It's not. Look, dude, I just drove through a buttload. When I went up to Utah, I drove through a buttload of cornfields here, but every damn field you can think of. And then all of a sudden we found ourselves, and at first I thought it was alfalfa, but it turned out to be soybean.
How much is a buttload of corn? How much corn can you store in your butt? I'm just curious.
Well, if you're a jackass, I'm thinking 3 bushels, maybe 4. Anyway, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone's having a great Friday night wherever you happen to be. Well, if you're from our friends on the other side of the world, welcome. It's Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon for y'all, so I hope all y'all having a good day. For our Aussies, it's afternoon, man. It's like noon or something, so they're having a good afternoon over there. Saturday, having a bar, out in the back, having some fun, chasing some, well, we're not going to say what they're chasing, but, well, this is a even show because it might be a guy chasing a girl chasing a guy, neutral chasing neutral. I don't know. We're not going to go there. But anyway, somebody chasing somebody down there after a few beers is all I can say. For our friends here in the United States, well, it's 10 p.m. Michael's time, so about 10:15. So they're getting warmed up out there in New York City, getting drunk.
Warmed up? It's cold as hell up here.
I'm talking about booze-wise, man.
No. People are putting their body armor on trying to go to 7-Eleven. That's big.
I know. Well, yeah, we're going to talk about that, too. In guys and girls, we got quite a few stories across. We got quite a few war stories and military stories to go through tonight as well. Just a lot going on around the world. A lot going on in the United States. And just to open this up, now we're not going to talk about this right off the bat, but we're going to talk about this later in the show. So I seen our what is it, Janet Yellen, is that her name, come out and say that pay down half the deficit under COVID conditions. Now, okay, maybe because we didn't have to spend a bunch of money and everything else, maybe that was possible because nobody was doing anything. But then I got to thinking, they were doling out money and not getting any tax money back because no one was working. No companies were making money. So I'm thinking, so what do we got to like the magic tooth fairy deficit payer? So we're going to check into this story and doing the show because I just seen it. I mean, literally 5 minutes before I came in here to sit down and talk with Mike, I saw this article. So it's from a reliable news source, but that doesn't mean crap these days. So I'm going to check it out while we're talking, doing the show. Anybody has any information, please feel free to send it. So you can hit me up at iCarCox.net. I'll open an email up in a minute. Or you can come into the chat room and from where are we tonight? We are on my 2 personal pages. United Public Radio, Facebook, what is that? News on the Flip Side, Facebook, which we need to change to Centralist. UFO on the Cover. We're on UFO Paranormal on YouTube. We're also on Twitch and Twitter. I forgot we're on LinkedIn. I have to change one of these to LinkedIn, but we're not on LinkedIn right now, but I'll change it during the night. So, radio network around the world that you can listen to us anywhere. It's funny. Just before I came on, I was talking with my daughter and my wife, and we were sitting in the room, and I clicked on iHeart by accident. And while I'm flipping through iHeart, what I see in big bold letters, United Public Radio, UFO Paranormal Radio. I was like, look at that crap. So nice to see that. I'm not making no money off of that, but still, it's nice to see it there. We're on so many of these podcast sites now. So don't ever tell me you can't find us because all you have to do is type in a show name, a station name, you'll find us. We're immediately available, found. We're all over the freaking internet. And we've been around for, 21 years now, almost 22 years. So I'd say we're pretty easy to find. So what are we going to talk about first tonight? Let's talk about Joe Biden threatened Russia because Iran is supplying drones to. Wait, I also hear that Iran is supplying troops to help them fly the drones because the Russians can't fly the drones. What the fuck is going on?
And they denied it. Iran said, we're not doing that.
Yeah, even though they've been busted doing it. I mean, first off, Russia. Look, Putin, you've always been a hero of mine. I'm thinking, Putin, come on, get out there with this chest. I mean, old fart, 80 years old, up there riding a horse, tits out in the air. And I'm thinking, yeah, he's a manly man. You're an idiot. What happened
did
to
you
your
see-
military? Have you not been watching your military for the last 8 years? I mean, what the hell's going on here?
They didn't just call out Iran; they called out Iraq too, saying Iraq is selling them
So
these drones.
I'm thinking, and I can cost Iraq big time because we still have
Iraq
treaties
has
with
our
Iraq.
equipment.
Well, I'm just saying we still have treaties with Iraq. That can mess Iraq up. They could find their ass at war with us again. I just don't understand this, Putin. I'm confused. Fire every general you have, every one of them. Just go through the whole. Go find some kid out in the sticks in the woods and give him the freaking job. He's going to do a better job. I mean, Jesus, man. I mean, what the hell's going on
I'll
over
do it.
there?
Hey, man, you want to make me the leader of Russia?
Well, I'm
I'm
just
down
saying.
for that.
I mean, first off, they're losing 10 tanks a day. They're losing territory all over the place. I don't understand. I mean, you're supposed to be the second most powerful military in the world, and you're embarrassing. Now you're embarrassing us.
They call out 200,000 reservists.
We're supposed to be scared of you, and now you're embarrassing us for being scared of you.
They call out 200,000 reservists. Most of them are kids. They didn't even give them body armor. Old guns, they said, no helmet, no body armor for most of them. So, and no food, by the way. So the whole thing is cockeyed.
So
it doesn't make any sense.
Xi Jinping, you're gonna send Russia some weapons. I see you were going to try to start a war in Taiwan, and then not just the United States got in your ass, but Europe did too, and said we will defend Taiwan. So, look, China, you can't beat the United States, much less the United States and its allies. You get your ass whooped. 400 nukes, and we'll shoot them down. Your navy will be sunk long before you even get a chance to use it. Y'all have not. Let me put this clear to the world. China has not been in a military engagement and won outside of its own walls ever.
Yeah.
Okay, and what makes it worse is the only people Chinese fight with is Chinese. So they've never invaded and tried to keep a territory before. Could you imagine Chinese soldiers in places like New York?
You saw the Japanese did it. The Japanese
I know. I mean, it would be such a nightmare for them. Now, out west, I don't know. Out west, you're a bunch of wussies. So when I say out west, I'm talking about California mainly. But really, you might be able to invade California and they might run and get their hair done or something. But the rest of us are going to fight, military or not. The rest of us are going to fight.
I'll tell you about the Chinese. They have no strategy. Their strategy days are over. That was dynasties years ago. The Japan walked in there carpet, because the Japanese understand strategy and being strategic thinkers. But plus, they're good at making weapons and that type of thing on top of it. So, but the Chinese people don't want a war, just like the Russian people don't want a war. Xi Jinping, especially since his biggest rivers have dried up and they lost their hydropower, they lost their shipping ability. I mean, people don't have food in certain areas. It's like really red level serious what's going on there.
And it's worse than that because, for the last 10 years, well, let me rephrase that. For the last 8 years, because of COVID, it quit doing COVID, China was becoming wealthy just like Russia because us and our allies were just spending money there like by the trillions.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden COVID comes, other things come out, and we're kind of like, you know what, China, you done proved to us that you can't be trusted. So we're just not going to do business with you. And we knew when we did it, it would put them back to a second world status because they don't have any other. So who are they going to buy? Who's going to buy from them? Iran? They ain't got no money. Venezuela, they got even less money. Cuba, they got even less money. Russia, well, obviously Russia ain't got no money. So their allies are broke.
Yeah.
So how do you even maintain anything when your allies are broke? China picked the wrong allies. Xi Jinping I know the Communist Party wanted to be an ass about this, but Xi Jinping should have been a man and said, look, you know what? We're going to run the world the way I want to, because if we do it the way I want to, then America and its allies will stay friends with us and we will become the most powerful thing to ever exist on the planet, which is where they were going until they stuck their own finger up their own ass. And this thing with Taiwan, look, we've had the last four presidents said we would defend Taiwan. Even Obama said we would defend Taiwan. Joe Biden, even his drunken wherever selfie is, even he said, Trump said it as well. Now, our European allies, well, I don't know about the UK now that their prime minister quit after 3 weeks, but we'll get to that too. But I mean, I just, China, this is a bad thing. China can't do this. This will bankrupt China. Without money, they can't even use a military. Yeah, and like they said, they got 400 nukes, but big deal. And they are state-of-the-art. Well, they're state-of-the-art nukes for China, and we know it's state-of-the-art. Have y'all ever bought a state-of-the-art TV from China? Really? Have you bought anything state of the art from China and it lasted, I don't know, a week or two? Look, I hate to say this, but I have never got a product other than one of them cheap, crappy plastic products from China that was worth a shit. Now, Japan, I got a plasma TV sitting on my floor right now. I got from Japan. It's a Mitsubishi, not a Mitsubishi, Hitachi. It's 16 years old. Some bitch is beautiful. Still works great. Plasma still all over the place. It's a freaking and it's still working. I got another TV in here, come from China. I'm not gonna say what kind it is. I don't want to hate. It lasted not even a year, and it died. Just under the warranty. So they sent me another one, and it lasted. Guess what? Just under a year, and it died.
The Chinese, the Chinese bought General Electric appliances a couple years ago, 2 years ago, and now they're the sole maker of General Electric, not the company, but the appliance division. So they bought all that. So if you buy a fridge, you buy GE.
I don't know how that works because they can't buy all the GE because GE has a military division. And
that's it. They bought the appliance division.
They also own NBC too, and Universal.
Frick, they don't need. You know what? They don't need any of that. They own TikTok, man. TikTok is taking the world over. I have so many friends addicted to TikTok. It's not even funny anymore.
Yeah, I don't go on there.
And it's not just Americans. What cracks me up is now the Chinese are getting on there with everybody else, and the Japanese are. It's weird, people. But when you watch people around the world, because we're Americans and we live a certain way and we act a certain way and we eat a certain way. Like if you go to Japan and you go to buy an egg McMuffin in the morning, it's a squid McMuffin. It's not a typical one, so it's made with a squid ink. It's just there's a couple of things. Even at McDonald's, you can find 6 or 7 products that you can't get in the United States. It's not just there; other places around the world are the same way. Because there are things, that other countries,
like down in Texas, you can get like a ranch, like a Texas ranch burrito, breakfast burrito. Some of them sell pizza. So there's regional differences.
Yeah, there are regionals
everywhere you go.
But when you watch people around the world, because I love watching, especially Japanese. I love watching Japanese people when they're doing their houses and stuff. You know what? I know a lot of anal retentive people in my life. There ain't none of them like this. These people. I mean, they have organizers everywhere. It's insane. I got to say, every state-of-the-art gadget you can think of, they have in their house, which is kind of great because it's kind of like letting somebody test drive them before you look at them. But it is funny to watch, and then you watch crazy Americans and doing stupid, retarded stuff, and then you get to watch chefs criticizing people cooking, which is I'm not sure what the hell that's about. Some guy told Chef Ramsay, anytime come on down south, we'll have a cook-off, buddy. I said, I bet you I sell more steaks than you do. I'm like, I don't know if I'd take that bet or not, man. Ramsay's a pretty damn good cook. But hey, look, if it's down in the bayou, he might. So it's one of them things. But anyway, getting back to the real news, people. Sorry, we got doggy ponied off there somewhere. Just took a step in the manure or something. I know, I must have went redneck tonight or something. I seen that comment. Still, I want to get back to this. Iran. So Iran's giving them drones, and they're using the drones as suicide drones, right? Kamikaze drones. I'm sorry. So the kamikaze drones. So the Russians can't fly these kamikaze drones, which still cracks me up, by the way. What cracks me up, people, is any kid in the United States can probably go work for the U.S. military now and probably get paid high money because they're really good at video games. And I told this to people 3 generations ago. I said, you just watch. I said, I'm telling you, we are training people for the future with these video games.
Well, the military designed the games. They designed the games. All those games you see is for training soldiers.
Well, a lot of this stuff out there now is all out there. It's all kind of gaming stuff going on. Eye-hand-eye coordination. So I'm thinking, really, y'all want to get into a war with us even that way? I mean, it'll be insane. Is what
we got some vicious kids in this country, man. They better watch out. We're afraid of our own teenagers in this country.
Well, man. Especially if these are mass-produced drones, where it doesn't matter if they bring them back. Oh man, because I remember the gentleman who I can't think of his name right offhand, but when he invented the software so that one drone can control 20 or up to 100. So they call it swarm. It's a swarm software. So one person's flying it, and it's controlling all 100. Now, you can break them off if you want.
It's AI. It's AI intelligence. So they actually communicate with each other.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, but they actually got a guy flying them, or a girl flying them. I shouldn't say that. They have a person flying them out of sometimes it's NORAD, sometimes it's other places. They have places all around the country, all around the world now. and they can fly these drones, and they are partially AI, but at certain points in the mission, the AI is not taking over; the person's taking over, because you have to make the call if you're going to kill somebody, not done by a person.
They're 90% autonomous, and then they can.
Oh yeah, most jets are these days. Most people don't even realize that. Most airline jets, except for takeoff and landing, you don't even have to have anybody in a cockpit. Now, there is software
so gender
to land
biased, Joe, calling it a cockpit.
I
want to hear it called the
cockpit.
vagina pit. They're gonna need to change it, man.
There's no chickens in there.
They're not going to change it.
But also those drones they're selling over there from Iran, allegedly some of them are programmable, so they can program a particular mission, like fly over an area.
I hear half of them don't work. They're crashing to the ground.
Yeah, because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to operate them. But they're not only just doing that; they're also selling their surface-to-surface missiles too.
So it's really become a big theater for sales. I feel like I need to be. I feel like I need to be a weapons sales. I feel like I'm missing a boat.
Wasn't Russia selling arms to Iran? So if I get this straight, Iran is selling Russia's arms back to Russia.
I don't know. I don't know it's theirs. They said on the news that it was their
drones on. I know
missiles developed by Iran, surface to surface, Iran developed missiles that they're selling to Russia for the effort.
Well, you know where Iran got its drone technology from that one we crashed over there. They're the ones that had it. They went and put it on display for the whole world to see it. So that's where their drone technology came from. For some reason, the United States really wasn't secretive about its drone technology. So it said, okay, we're going to build these massive drones, but meanwhile, we're going to let these companies sell these drones all around the world. Well, the little drones is the big drones. Big drones are more sophisticated, but it's still basically the same damn thing. Mm-hmm. They still run on a remote control, much more sophisticated, don't mind you, and they can carry weapons. But you know what? If I really wanted to, I could take one of my drones, one of the ones I do for like surveying roofs and stuff. I could actually put a bomb on it if I wanted to and just fly it around, drop it anywhere I wanted to. So this is the reason I bring this up. What scares me about this is we talk about these gun control laws. If you take guns away from people in general, sooner or later somebody's going to figure this out on their own. I mean, let's not forget Timothy McVeigh did not use a gun and kill more people in one day.
Fertilizer.
You know, I mean, he used fertilizer and blew off the side of a freaking building.
Like, so it's probably half of the building. I mean, the whole front face of it came down.
Killed a whole nursery full of kids. So the point being,
ammonium nitrate with a diesel fuel plus he had primer cord, which isn't so easy to get.
The point being here is, again, guns don't kill people. People kill people. If somebody wants to figure out a way to kill you, they're going to kill you. You know, I say this 100 times. It's just, ban. It's just going to get worse.
Joe, the FBI is hacking you.
Worse. You're FBI's heard this a million times.
You're breaking up, Joe. You're breaking up.
I love you, FBI, man.
Joe Biden's hacking you.
China's hacking us because we're talking bad about their technology.
I don't know. And the cable company's supposed to be fixing this too. Me and them had a meaningful talk yesterday. See, it wasn't meaningful enough.
You were yelling at them, and they were going, "Yes, sir. No problem, sir. We'll fix that right away, sir."
I said, I told the guy, I said, every time this glitches, I said, this shows your product to 1 million or more people. And he's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "That's how many people listen to the particular show I was talking about." He's like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." And then I come back and I say, that's that Spark-like piece of shit crap cable company. And he's like, "Oh." I'm like, "Yeah. Oh, exactly." I said, more and more, you're spreading that around the country, more people listening to us, and they're going, "Really? Maybe we shouldn't get that company." And this is a business connection. This isn't even an ordinary, everyday bullshit connection. It's supposed to run perfect 99% of the time. So,
in the end, there will only be one.
But you know what? I do burn through a router about every 2 years.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's a modem router is what it is. I burn through one about every 2 years. That's why I don't buy them. I used to buy them, but now I'll just...
Well, you want to change them up. Technology improves every minute of the day, so...
it does, but and I got to say they have excellent security software built into them. It's really nice, So you get kind of stacked security, which is nice too.
Are you saying that nobody can hack you, Jim?
No, no, indeed not. And on top of that, I'll say this too. So just a couple of months ago, we lost Podcast Gardens to a hacker. Not us, the guy who owns it. Miserable poor, just wiped the guy's whole career out. Just recently, another big company lost its whole website and all of its podcasts. Some guy from South Korea, he did, what's it called? Some kind of porn, AHEGAO, whatever that is. So
Oh,
anyway,
Hasugayo.
it's like a bunch of girls half naked running around, the eyes big out, tongue stuck out. Anyway, it's hilariously funny, but they're just bouncing around on a site where the site used to be, and that's what it is. And then of course they got a porn address underneath. I was laughing my ass off, and thinking, well, either the dude visited a porn site on a computer with his radio network,
Captain, you break it up, Captain. Yo,
or
you break it up,
he did something else.
Captain.
Rare whiskey shop.
I can't beam you up either.
I'm gonna have to take that away from Michael. I can see it coming.
He doesn't share his toys with the rest of us.
I can see it. I'm gonna have to see it.
People,
yeah, I've been being nice
guys out there. Woohoo!
Yeah, I've been being nice, but now I'm on the other computer, so I don't think I have any sound.
And we lost one of our for Halloween. We lost one of our people, man, on the network. She got pushed into a wood chipper. I heard.
Yeah.
Who?
Yes, and
a nasty one. It looks like Miss Piggy.
You better
I
be
didn't
nice,
say that
Michael.
out loud.
Don't make me put
I think
Helly
we
on
may
you,
have to.
buddy.
You know what? For the show next week for Halloween, we may have to channel Stephanie, man, and get her in here. Let Stephanie take over for a minute.
I don't know about all that, my friend.
See, she just got you, man. She just
I don't know
she
about
just
all
went
that.
right
No,
tickled your
I
throat.
don't know about all that. Her mom might pay for a hit on your ass, and you're in New York.
She just tickled your throat, dude. She was like, "Uh-huh."
So let's talk about the economy for a little while. I don't want Stephanie haunting my house. Stephanie, if you're listening, you go haunt Michael's ass. Okay. Yes. And don't hurt him now because he still needs to. Wait, let's go. I want to go through this article real quick. So, economy and the Democrats. So, Democrats polls show that Democrats are doing well amongst likely voters when in under the Democratic Party.
You mean the general
people?
Where?
Yeah,
China?
I know. So, but then this is the New York Times. So, but then it goes on to
Democratic
say that,
paper. Yeah.
But when you poll most general people, independents, undecided, centralists, and Republicans, they are leaning towards the GOP mainly because of the economy. And not only is it leaning, and the guy says, I should change this, rephrase this from leaning to it's swaying voters by the tens of thousands. And he says, as it looks more and more like we're going into a recession, even more people are running to the red banner. I have seen 4 polls today that suggest that the Republicans are going to win the House and the Senate. So, but you know what? They're hollow victories in the fact that, one, they got to keep them in 2024, but they can't do anything. Because, Uncle Crack's got a big stamp with a rubber thing on veto, and he just goes, kapow! And you go, in 2 years isn't really enough time to turn bills around. You might get it through twice if you're lucky, but
no, I mean, if you look back at Trump's administration, it took him 4 years to get the economy straight, and then it took Biden 6 months to turn it all around and make it go down. So it's going to take 4 to 6 years to get us.
You
back
saw
to where
it was interesting. 6 months after Trump was in, you seen a drop in food prices. I mean, a drop in gas prices, but you also seen a uptick in export of gasoline and production of gasoline in our country.
Mm-hmm.
And then as he went along,
So
I think it was 9 months in when his first GDP was like 2.5, which was double already what Obama's best was. I was like, wow, that's it. And then he got up to 3.6. So
I think the most he was recorded like a 4.9, but it's still steady around 3.5, 3.7, something like that.
He 3.6 is what we consider excellent in this country these days. And he was just rolling along, having a good old time. And I got to say this. The man did all of this. He got our enemies at bay. He straightened our economy out. He changed a lot of things in our country, all while being pummeled every day by the media and law enforcement, FBI. This is the second time now the FBI has gone after. So wait, FBI, I don't even understand this. So you went after the first time, Comey and all them over the Russia stuff, and eventually you found that it was a complete and utter lie, even though you didn't want to say it because you were busted. So you didn't see none of this other stuff while you were so now you're trying to get a president for bringing home classified material when he was the president of the United States. I don't know.
Well, the three states that are going to decide this election, this midterm, is going to be Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. Those are the really big battlegrounds where the Democrats are pumping in millions, hundreds of millions, literally.
Yeah, but that's not enough now. They're saying they're expecting that the Republicans to take the House by a couple of dozen.
That's the Senate. That's just the Senate.
No, the Senate, they're only supposed to one or two. Senate's much smaller than the House.
Those three states. Look,
Yeah,
Guy
those three
Featherman,
states
man, in Pennsylvania.
Oh, no,
he's a scary dude.
George is big into play for the Senate, just like they were in last election. Georgia
that's what I
decided
said.
the
The
last
three
election.
states that will decide the Senate of those three states.
Oh, I didn't
And
know
that's
you
why
had
they're
to say
pumping
Georgia.
hundreds of millions into fighting the Republicans.
Yeah, well,
I
it
don't
doesn't.
think fight back the red wave unless something truly dramatic happens.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
People have
look
been
like,
through too much. Too much.
As it looks right now, Stacey Abrams not going to be the governor of Georgia. Oh, I read an article today from one of them liberal rags saying how Santos was going to lose his ass off in the Florida election.
Let's just say that Stacey Abrams actually said if people want to save money and have more money, they should get an abortion. She actually said that.
Wow.
You know, so that's how sick-minded that woman is in the party that she represents. We put things in perspective, you know.
Oh, they just gave Trump's guys 4 months in prison for contempt of Congress.
He lied. God deserved it, man. Steve Bannon, he's a snake anyway. That guy's a snake.
Yeah, he is. But it's
fat
political.
snake.
There's nothing about January 6th that's not politically motivated by the
They're all
Democrats.
against Trump, dude. Even his second in command there, you know. He's
Mike
choose
Pence.
somebody else. Well, yeah, because he had to hide. They made him the manager of a Hooters in Chicago for like all that time. Nobody would find him. It was hell for him. The food there is terrible.
Oh, so in Oregon, some guy for the Forest Service was setting fires. What a prick!
I've never been to a
Excuse my
Hooters. Have you guys been to a Hooters ever?
Yeah, well, every Hooters I've ever been to, I always ask the girls why do they name it Hooters.
Yeah.
I used to do that.
You
at
have to be
BJ's.
there to understand. But
I used to do
My
that at
buddy and I
BJ's,
used to
you know.
go to the one in Rockville all the time, and we would, if they had a new waitress, we would mess, not in a bad way, we just make sure she knew what she was doing. He'd ask them, the new waitress, you know, how many dimes to $1, and they'd almost always say one dime for $1. He's like, well, I'm not going to ask for you for change. And then I'd always ask him, would you mind going to put on the Redskins versus the Penguins? They're going to play in a few minutes on the TV. And so this young lady who's in a sports bar goes running around trying to find Washington Redskins playing the Penguins. It's hockey versus football. They don't play together. So it was just funny to watch.
I know nothing about them. Do they do lap dances in there?
No. They just wear skimpy clothing and have averagely decent food.
So you can't get like a burger and a
Mike in the
shake.
hair.
You get like burger and a shake.
Oh, special master calls out
One
Trump for
of my
blowing
friends is
deadline.
a pilot for Hooters. He flies their big 747. I just think that's kind of cool. I won't say his name.
Oh my God! Somebody slap Mike. Just somebody reach through.
I want to
there
go for a
and
ride
slap
beyond the Hooters. I've been to a Hooters restaurant. I just don't.
You're not
I don't
missing
like. I don't like
trust
the
me.
two.
The
It's
food-
like when
the
I watch,
food is
I watch
eh.
a movie. I don't have to see boobs in a movie because you can always switch to something porno. Or
Well,
something that,
first off,
like, you know
there
what?
ain't
It's a
that
whole
many of them
weird
in the
concept.
Hooters, and the food is lacking at best. For what you're going to pay for lunch, you might as well go to a real
So
restaurant.
you just go in there to look at girls' boobs.
No one goes there for the food. They go there for the booze and the chicks. That's, I mean, literally,
Yeah.
that's the reason.
This makes the fourth poll I seen that says that the Republicans are going to win the Senate by maybe even 2 or 3 votes. Oh man, that'd be a miserable time for the Democrats, won't it be? We can only. It doesn't really matter. That it doesn't even matter if they win the Senate, because if they
Do
don't
they
win the
have like a
Senate,
male version of the restaurant called like Ballers?
no. But it doesn't
You would
matter if
think
they
that
don't.
they
If they
would.
don't win the Senate, even if they win the Senate, if they don't win it by 2/3 majority, it doesn't. It's useless
Soap
to them.
type restaurant.
All it does is keep the Democrats from doing anything.
The big banana, I think, man, something like that.
Chippendales.
You know?
They've already got
I used
that.
to go to a fruit store called the Big Banana. It's so sexual.
Like,
How about the Happy Pickle? That was an actual
I like-
restaurant bar down in
I love
Potomac.
a happy pickle, man. Who doesn't like to see a happy pickle? Pickles are pickles.
what are we going to do with doofus? No, I agree. So Jenny writes in and says, "What the hell? This don't sound like news to me. It sounds like the
pickles.
boys'
Pickles is
club."
news for a lot of people. People like pickles.
No, that's not
She-
news.
she doesn't
Pickles
like
is the
pickles.
food channel. I agree with you, Jenny. Pickles is the food channel, or the porn channel, depending on what you're watching.
Uh-oh. Got to
Well,
drag porn.
it could be either way. I don't want to discriminate. These people
first
get upset
porn,
too
then
fast.
guns. Go ahead, talk about Bertha.
So
Martha,
wait, so Ukraine strikes occupied. So now they're striking an occupied territory as more Russians flee.
Mm-hmm.
So I look, Russian guys, if you flee and you get caught, Putin's gonna put your ass in jail or kill you, one or the other.
They're evacuating Ukrainians into Russia. And then
they're not evacuating, abducting. The Russian army is abducting Ukrainians.
They think they're going to put them in like some kind of internment camps, like.
No, they're going to try to use them for conscripts for the war. I was of that understanding.
Yeah, probably
not
so.
Doing it, though.
Put them out in front of some place that you don't want.
Use them as gun fodder to keep.
A lot of young men don't want to fight the war, so they're not doing it. They're leaving Russia in big groups. But then they put them in there with old guns from the Soviet era, really. With hardly any ammo, no food, no body armor.
Well, wait, let's be honest. I'd take an AK-47. No problem at all, buddy.
That's a kick-ass bullet right there.
Yeah, I'd take an AK-47. No problem at all.
No, they're not using AKs. They're using older guns. These are long-ass guns, man. You got to see the stuff. It's some junk there.
That doesn't matter. If you keep the gun maintained and oiled and cleaned, it'll do
you
what
guys
it needs
are
to
talking about nothing because these are children who don't know what the fuck they're doing to begin with. Giving them some old relic. They're not gonna know what the hell to do with it, man. They wouldn't know what to do with their their parts.
I watched Putin at the training camp today, watching them being trained. Putin was there making sure they were getting
these guys are crying.
Training.
They're crying their eyes out. They don't want to do it. They don't want to go. It's not Russia being threatened. This is bullcrap. And the Ukrainians are thirsty to kill these guys. So you're facing a group of people that's happy to kill you because you're in their land. There's a lot of passion going on there. And they're becoming very seasoned fighters. Doesn't take long. Russia has no seasoned fighters. It was the last war they ever had. Same for China. Same for North Korea. All these guys. Remember Saddam said he had the fourth largest army in the world, the Republican Guard, which had hundreds of thousands of troops, right? How many days did it take to destroy them completely? And half of them gave up anyway because they were like, oh, I don't want to die.
Well, if you're talking about Desert Storm, it only took us, I think, a total of like 37 minutes to take out their Air Force with F-117s.
You brought up Timothy.
How long did it take them to get the men done? It was,
You brought up Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma bomber. He was a tank commander in the Iraqi war. They would blast and just blow people away. That's a mentality that other people don't understand. That like Americans, I'm saying, we have a certain mentality of that old West kind of cowboy, and it mixes in with the toughness of just being the survivor every day. You know what I mean? And we don't take crap off anybody. We get really indignant about it. Like the French, man. The French get really, think about it. No matter what goes on there, they protest stuff. They're out in the streets and they do their thing and whatever. You gotta respect that people who mobilize.
Mm-hmm.
But now England, man, we were talking about England a little bit before. So 44 days she had, and then Liz Truss is gone, and she mocked people. You know what she did? She warned America. She said spending out of crazy and not listening to people is a cocktail for disaster. She warned the Democratic Party specifically and what they're doing. But of course, she's a righty. So, but who's next, guys? Who do you think? Bojo's talking about coming back. Boris Johnson.
Oh, he could try. I don't know if he's gonna get back now. Though it's
but it's the labor. The Labor Party wants to take over. Obviously, for them to have any kind of elections will take weeks. Let's say this: England's got the same problem.
I don't think the Labor Party got the vote to take over.
England, the crime's out of control. The healthcare system's breaking down. They have all kinds of fiscal issues, man. So they need. And the Queen just died, for God's sakes. Oh, you know what I mean? They got the King. So anyway. It's a mess. It's a mess in England, and I feel bad for people there who are suffering through this because it's getting worse. They just don't understand about you can print up all the money in the world, but you have to be able to back it up at some point. So that's the deal. 44 days.
That's not very long. I mean, that's kind of comparing Obama. What was he, a senator for 6 months, and he quit and become president? And then
you want to hear
he was a great senator.
You want to hear the worst? You want to hear the worst part of it? She's able to claim 115,000 pounds per year.
Yeah,
after
she gets full benefits. Yeah, full benefits. It's
no,
she don't get a full salary.
Term that she was going to have. So
Yeah.
there you go.
So she quit, but she gets paid for the term she would have stayed.
That's the
doesn't make
business that we
it
need to
doesn't
be
matter
in.
because
We're in the wrong
their
business.
politics are just like ours. If you serve one time, you get a package.
We need to
for
run
life.
our own country.
We need to do something. Let's. Oh, so I found out about this. Cut the deficit in half. It was only in 2021, and it was 1.37 trillion dollars is what they cut. So usually we ran 2.77 in deficit. They cut that by 1.3 trillion. So, but the article doesn't say that. The article says he cut the deficit by half. Is what the article says. So you have to read the article, people, because obviously it's a bunch of bullshit.
They're going to lie as much as they can to try to win, man. That's
Now,
what they do.
here's another thing I see. I see Democrat, liberal havens all over posting this left and right. There's a big shortage of poll workers, people to run the voting polls.
I'll be afraid.
So they said there's a big shortage, people. So if you want this election to be fair, volunteer, go work your poll.
How much is it, man? They pay you? You got to volunteer for that?
And if you volunteer, you might they might buy you lunch or dinner, but you're not getting money.
Yeah.
Good dinner, nice restaurant.
Well, they can't give you money because then they're
I mean, Hooters. They'll take you to Hooters.
It'd be a Hooters.
Yeah.
That'd be Florida. You know what I mean? You go to Hooters.
It's what was that, Jessica? I seen you post something a minute ago. Oh, real clear politics. Yeah, I'll bring that poll up in a little while. So right now, as of October 18th, Republicans are favored by 2%. That's RCP. CBS has them favored by 3%. Harvard has them. Oh my God. Harvard has Democrats 47, Republicans 53. Oh, come on, people. That's a Democratic mecca. Rasmussen, 48-41. Fox actually has them losing 41-44. Fox, really? Don't try to act like, just don't, Fox. Just come on. Just, oh my God. That's just too much.
So here in
every
New York,
poll
let's talk
down
about
here
New York
has
for a
a
minute.
winner.
Let's talk about New York. You got Kathy Hochul. She took over for Cuomo after he left just in the office with his sexual advances on women and whatever. Now Kathy, Hochul is up and she's under fire because she has been playing the whole, what do they call it? Pay to play, which is really just bribery. It's bribery, taking tons of money from people who donated money to her, getting family jobs in those huge corporations, making millions and millions and millions. With Alden, who is the Republican challenger, guys, either one of you, both of you.
I don't know. It's exactly the most Republican. I mean, they have been Republican lovers in the past, and they can do it. It just depends how much is this hurt.
Exactly.
So you got two things in
the
New
city
York
had Giuliani.
So you got three things that are going to shape the New York race. One, how much are y'all paying for gas and food? That's going to how bad is crime really, and do you want it stopped? And of course, there's always the abortion things, which New Yorkers actually care about, where other states don't. It's tough. I mean, remember Trump pulled 46% in New York, so that he almost got half. So that tells you right there.
When they worry about issues, their pocket starts first. It's in their pocket. Can I pay my bills?
Especially right now, because gas is going back up again.
Gas is going up. Prices are going up. Food prices have never come down.
Food prices
are very
expensive. Well, we've seen a drastic drop in ground meat price. It went from $9.99 a pound to $1.99 a pound.
You know why? Remember I told you a few weeks back that all these cattlemen are taking their cattle in because they can't afford to sustain them. So the small cattle farms are killing all their cattle and sending them out to slaughter. So it's driving down the price of the meat. And the USDA has allowed foreign governments to send meat and red meat to compete. So you got foreign meat, marked USDA, by the way, competing with local growers, and local feed people and whatever. And here in the United States, you know what I mean? So it's a mess. It's a mess. They're not supporting the small farms. They're going under. They're selling their cattle stock, and they're being squeezed. Basically, because of fuel prices, because they're, to run those tractors and do the stuff, they need fuel. And then no one's thinking about them. No one's subsidizing them. They say they are, but then they don't. You know how it goes. That's why meat is cheap right now. Wait till Christmas.
No, for us, it's different.
Because it's not.
It's not like that down here. It's different for us. We got to remember the South's self-sufficient. We have our own fuel.
So
and our own
so's
food.
where Jay and I. You think where Jay and I live isn't self-sufficient? You don't think
No,
we don't
it's
have
not self-sufficient.
agriculture all around?
Not really. Your agriculture's ended for the year. Ours hasn't. And our cows can eat all year round. They ain't got to worry about starving.
Cows don't stop in the winter.
That's what I'm saying. And they can eat down here. Grass keeps growing down here, my friend.
We have dairy farms.
And when they don't, we stock up on hay because it's easy to grow hay here. So it's just different.
I don't think you understand this area.
No, I mean,
it's agriculture.
It's only agriculture. Yeah, but it's only agriculture like 5 months out of the year. It's agriculture down here 12 months out of the year. My damn crepe myrtles are blooming right now. Out my side window, my crepe myrtle tree is actually blooming. It thinks it's springtime. I'm serious, dude. It doesn't really get cold down here, but 2 months, and it's usually not cold enough to stop the food from growing.
So you're going to see all right, but this is the futures price, and you're going to see the price rise around Christmas, and then meat's going to go through the roof, and there's going to be a lack of supply, and then it's going to be bad for everybody. That's what people are saying. They're saying buy it now while it's cheap. I just bought a London broil. I got 2 pounds for like $6 and change, man. That's you know how cheap that is.
That's cheap. That's a good price. See, we get like Claiborne Hill. They're a local grocery. They have their ranch actually, so they bring in their own beef. So even when beef was high at the chain stores, it was still cheap there. It was still like $3 a pound. Now over there you get it for 99 cents a pound.
Now you see
because it's local.
Now you're seeing the vegetarian companies, the Beyond Meat and all that, going out of business and losing all kinds of money, losing their stock value because nobody wants that.
I mean, those Impossible Burgers are like it's like $11 just for the burger at Burger King.
Well, that's the other thing that's going on too.
I tried one once; it was horrible.
So if
have you had that stuff?
Yeah, my wife said it tastes
just
like
impossibly god awful nasty. Didn't like it.
Yeah. She said it tastes just like the Whopper. I was like, really? Oh, that's just...
Their Impossible Burger gave me diarrhea for 3 days. It was the impossible journey for Pepto-Bismol, man. Oh, my God. You know, so who wants that? But, it's, a vegetarian doesn't eat that anyway because it reminds them of meat. They don't want a hot dog. They don't want the burger. They already eat what they eat, nuts and seeds and stuff.
Besides, Burger King's been caught twice slipping beef fat into the mixture.
Slip my beef. I'm going to slip my beef into the mixture, baby.
It's one of them things. Mark, is that Marky or Marcus? I don't know. It looks like jibber jabber on my screen.
You want to see my egg McMuffin?
Yes, I don't know who he is. He's some weirdo. Some weirdo we let on the radio with us.
Someone's out there.
Just kidding. No, that's what we were just talking about. He lied. It didn't cut the deficit in half. It cut 2021's deficit in half.
All he does is lie.
Yeah, the whole article was just a sham article.
He doesn't know, dude. He doesn't know where he is. You know how many times I've seen this week that Biden didn't know, like he said something and then whatever, or he got frustrated talking to somebody and he I don't know. He's seeing dead people, man. I mean, he's there. He's there. He needs to go to the white light.
I seen him mad, but I seen he got wrangled with some of them reporters, man. He got pissed with them.
I know. He kicked one right in the nuts. He was like,
he's losing his patience because he's.
So here you go. Yahoo News. I love this Andrew Roma. This guy is so liberal that he pees blue. I have no doubt about it. New poll shows Democrat could win 2022 midterms. Should you believe them? No, you should not. I'm telling you now, people, the Democrats don't have a chance of taking the House. And if the Democrats win the House, I'll become one of the people who wonder what the hell kind of cheating been going on in our country. There's too many places where they are too far ahead. I mean, it's not like 1 or 2 votes. It's like 12 or 14 points. So if those people lose, you got to really start questioning what's going on.
Let me tell you what's happening inside the Democratic Party, right? The ones with the big money that don't believe in all of this crap that these people have gotten on, under Trump and all that. They don't want any part of this. And they want to go back to the middle again. They want to go back, like CNN wants to go back to the middle. They can't deal with all these extremists. And there's only a few of them, which that's like their bulldogs, They use them, the pit bulls. They send them out to all kinds of crap issues. AOC, when she's criticized everywhere now, she dances around like an idiot. You know what? She's like a 12-year-old. I hate to say, she's got the mentality of some kind of high school kid or junior high kid. She doesn't take things seriously. But her district will never vote her out because it's the image that they sold to those people. Queens and Bronx, man, large communities of Spanish people, especially, they look up to her. They think that she's a leader, but it's what they sold, the image. It's the image. She's not a leader. She doesn't do anything for the people. She didn't even want those migrants, the illegal aliens in her backyard. They sent them to another place, spent millions to put 5 people there. The rest of them are in high-end hotels. Now there's a tax in these high-end hotels because they put the homeless people in there too. Imagine you go to New York City, you rent a hotel room for $350 a night or whatever, which is kind of pricey, but you think you're going to get a good room, you're going to be in a nice place, and then there's some guy outside your door peeing in the hallway. And if you look at him, he attacks you. This is what's going on, in New York City. And then you got Mayor Adams. He parties all night long. He's hanging out with famous people. Rappers, people like Beyonce and whatever, and then he defends it, saying that his party lifestyle drives $1 billion industry in New York City. This guy's nuts, and his time. I mean, he just became mayor, for God's sakes. And what is he doing? There's no police officers anymore in the transit. People getting pushed in front of trains and beaten up and killed. They're releasing criminals, just letting them out so they can commit more crimes. We talked about that a week ago. And here we are. The Green Goblins, they let them all go. Isn't that funny?
Really?
Jesus. These girls live in the Queensboro housing projects. I looked them up, man. This is one of the most dangerous housing projects you can walk through. So their normal life is jail, and you have to think of the mentality of what's being bred there and released onto the streets and stop that from happening, stop the crime. But instead, they're putting criminals right back into the community again. There's no common sense about that. No common sense. You're not protecting anybody.
Yeah.
Sounds awfully racist. It doesn't sound like they care about the black community, does it? The people.
Well, Democrats never ever cared about the black community.
But they act like they do. They say they do, but
they say they do. But like Trump busted them. That's why Trump's got so many blacks have come over to Republicans. So many Latinos have too, because Trump busted him when he said on national television when he asked Hillary Clinton, "Well, what has your party done for the blacks in the last 30 years?" And she was like, that was her answer.
Welfare and social services. I mean,
but
that's really what
forget.
it is. But look at New Orleans. New Orleans has such a problem with crime. They're asking the people to help. I mean, but this is going on all over, man. At some point it's going to bust. Some people are going to put a stop to it, like vigilante people, and we don't want that. We want the government to do what they're supposed to do.
NPC says at the bare minimum, the Republicans are going to keep all 50 of their seats and probably gain 1. So they're saying, or NBC saying the Republicans going to win the Senate by 1. And they're also saying that, how these other people were saying that this guy had a chance of beating DeSantis. They're saying DeSantis' popularity among Latinos is boosting his chances of winning Dade County. The first time in 20 years a Republican has won Dade County.
I think he stood up and did the right thing. He showed himself to be a true leader. Every time there was a catastrophe going on in Florida. So, I mean, I would go move there.
But
just
it's more than that, because I kept trying to
but I hate Florida.
I kept trying to tell some of my Democratic friends, they're going, well, they're doing this to the immigrants. And I said, let me tell you something. I said, legals, people who come here legally from other countries are anti-illegal immigrants. I said, you do know that, right? I said, they don't want illegal immigrants to come. That stuff being taken away from them because somebody snuck across the border when they had to pay and do it the right way.
Drastic times call for drastic actions, dude. He needed to put the emphasis. You saw the reaction from the libs up there in Martha's Vineyard. You saw how they were and how they reacted, and it just, oh my God, for 50 people, 50 is nothing.
So they're saying Republicans are going to win 81 seats. Holy shit! And Chad, I would give them a 2/3 majority. They could impeach somebody.
Who's they?
What is this? 538. No, this is 538. No, Fox said they were losing. This is 538. Just one of the bigger polling companies. They've got the Democrats winning by 2, and NBC has the Democrats losing by 1. But they also have the Republicans winning by 36 seats. So the more polls I look at, more and more showing the Republicans winning anywhere from 15 to 80 seats. That's a lot of seats, man. Man, I'd be nervous.
What's the total? 235?
I don't know what's up for grab this time. It's every 2 years.
But the total seats available are 235.
Well, I thought it was split, wasn't it? Because isn't there like 500 seats or 400 and something seats or something?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I thought it was the total seats in the Senate was 235.
You might be right. Look, I ain't gonna argue with you because I don't remember. But I thought they half and half. I might be wrong too. They may all come up every 2 years. It's I thought for some reason only half came up, but I might be wrong. No, something's got to be different because they're showing Dems 270 seats over here, and this is showing 270 seats over here. So there's at least that many seats. We can look it up in a second. Man, it's been that long. It's been a long time since I went through the seat. I guess the last time was in the big election. Trump's last election, I think, is the last time we did it. Interesting in itself. You know, I just don't know what's going to happen though if the Republicans win. I mean,
535 total members in Congress.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I knew it was 5 something.
Yeah, and then there's probably twice that for the representatives.
Yeah, because there's only 100 senators. There's two for each state. So that's 400 and something, 435 in the House.
So Zeldin in New York State's at 46. Hochul's at 45.
Yeah, 535 total seats in Congress. 435 are House of Representatives. So that leaves 100 for the seats in
for that state. Yeah. So I don't know how many are up for play this time. I'd have to ask. I guess I could ask.
Not for nothing, Cuomo would have trounced on this guy Zeldin. Yeah, it wouldn't even be a contest. So that's what they put in charge of that Hochul. She was lieutenant governor. She got in there and acted like it was her first day. She didn't know anything going on. But she's for sale. Probably as bad as somebody like a Hillary, or the rest. I think they all are, man, unless they're billionaires already, and even then, but whatever. It's a mess. Huge mess here in New York State, like everywhere. Look at California.
It's a huge mess,
what's going on in California? There's a mass exodus in California. People are leaving there. They can't and they're recalling all these.
And they're leaving there, man. I mean, they're leaving there. It's unbelievable how they're leaving.
They are recalling all the big liberal politicians who wanted to put these crazy programs in. They recalled school boards, like in San Francisco, because they don't want these teachers teaching their kids about transsexuals and all that. And they said that. So I mean, people have had enough. They're like, okay.
Well, wait. Enough. So that's a good segue for a second. So you've seen Mr. Obama came out, or ex-President Obama came out 3 days ago, and said the woke culture is destroying the Democratic Party.
The culture he created? Is that what that is?
He said, no, it was woke. I guess
he created that crap. He created that crap.
I don't know if he created so much that's just getting ground under his.
Well, he created the bathroom problem, as I'd like to call it, when we got into this. We don't know. We're going to give everybody rights, and he was one of the culture is not a real culture. He said we have let a hand-picked group of people go around picking on people in our country. He said that's not what America's about. So I got to give him credit. I mean, he actually came out and I mean, he's basically telling Joe Biden, look, man, get your crew under control. But you're right. It is mainly his party or his rule where most of it started at. Not all of it, but most of it. Some of it started under Bush.
Did any of you guys see the video of that woman? I think it was in Atlantica. She mentioned Peachtree, but I think the guy misquoted her as being in California. But she was upset that the school board had allowed I don't know if they were cross-dressers or transgendered men or whatever, but men dressed as women, grinding sexually in a dance on the ground in a family-friendly entertainment show for their children. And she was pissed. Absolutely pissed about having her kids forced to watch this.
Yeah, I've already said this 100 times. My kids are grown now. My son's 36. So it's not a big deal. But I'm telling you now, if I'd have had daughters in school and transvestites were allowed in the bathroom with my daughters, I'd have whooped somebody's ass. I'd have probably drugged the principal out and whooped his ass, and then went to school board and whooped their asses. That's just unacceptable. Somebody said, well, girls know what those things are. I said, yeah, but they shouldn't have to be exposed to that in their own private bathrooms. I said, we're talking, and he's talking about junior. Yeah, he's talking about 7, 8, 10-year-old kids. I said, no, this is ain't no way, man. I said, it's not going to happen, and America's not going to go for it. What's funny about I won so much money that year off of stupid woke bets. People say, oh, well, the whole country going to get behind. I said, no, they're not. Oh, they're going to get behind. No, they're not. Country, the media gets behind you. And that's what politicians forget, especially Democrats lately. they forget because the media gets behind them. So they think they got it made. They don't realize the country's not behind them. The country's kind of like, no, not really. It's not really, no, we don't want to do that. It's just like, let's go do it. And then I was talking to some friends, and I haven't seen this come up on any of the polls yet, and it should. A lot of people I know are worried that Joe Biden's going to get us into a war.
Well, I think that's already happening.
But for some reason, none of the polls are carrying it. No one's asking about it. And some people have said it's probably even higher up on the list than abortion. Most people got abortion around 4 right now, 3 or 4, depending on what state you're in. But the Democrats don't understand that either. They don't understand their bill. They don't, that bill they passed a few months ago, they don't understand abortion. Well, you popped your cap too quick. The news feed it has too much stuff in it. You can't, if you want something to be relevant for election, it has to happen that week. You have to come out, like when they tried to come out the week of the election and said Trump raped that old liberal looking woman. And when everybody's seen her, when you've seen this woman, even when she was young, you looked at her like, I just can't see Trump even wanting to do that, much less rape it. I mean, Trump pretty much, you've seen the kind of women he liked through his whole life. And this chick was like library chick, ugly. I mean, she's just ugly. Now, if it was Bill Clinton, I'd have said, oh, yeah, Bill probably hit it. But not Trump. It just wasn't his style.
Yeah, no, the last 2 ladies he's been with have been foreign ladies. They're not, they're American natives now, but they weren't born in America. Yeah, and they're tall and they're like model-esque. Isn't it his current wife? What didn't she win?
You guys are so funny. Like you've never dated out of your circle of what things you like. Sometimes you want
right. No,
you know what? You can eat pizza every day. Sometimes you want a burger.
Let me tell you what, dude. I should women with huge boobies. I married one. I've been married to her for 40 years, man. What can I tell you? I know what I like. I don't have to go sampling anything. Besides, when I was younger, I did all kind of people. But regardless, I knew what I liked. I knew what I liked personality-wise. I knew what I liked, hair-wise. That's what I wanted. Fortunately for me, I was a little faster than most guys my age. I just knew a little bit more. I grew up a little different, so it was a little different for me. But still, Trump, I don't think Trump would have done this woman on a bet. I think you could have bet him $500 million and he would have said, hey, ain't a shot in hell it's going to happen. It's just when you listen to her talk, when you looked at her, and in a bathroom in a restaurant where someone might have seen him, I'm sorry. I ain't even buying that bullshit, not even a little bit. And I noticed a court didn't buy it either. A liberal court threw it out, by the way, not a GOP court.
To the looks of the women.
Yeah, he is. And there's no reason to try to say he's not.
He ran like beauty shows. Thing. Come on, he was a promoter, and he had access to very beautiful women.
This is something the Democrats have been trying. It doesn't work really for them. It's like Cavendish when they started on that thing from 35 years ago, and no one could remember it. Yeah, Kavanaugh. Everybody was like, "What?" Even the people who were at the party were like, "What?" And that didn't happen.
That Dr. Ford lied. She said it, but she did it without saying it. She said that she would have lied to and make sure that.
Yeah, she did. She's not the only one. Yeah, quite a few people got busted for lying. So,
no, it never happened to them either, did it?
Well, no. What's her name had to pay out a lot of money. I don't know. It just depends which one Trump went after and which ones he didn't. And from what I heard, his lawyer was going after a lot of people. So I know they went after a lot of people.
We're in the realm of there's no bottom of the barrel anymore. They'll protest outside of Supreme Court justices' homes, threaten their lives.
But see, that's one of the things Obama went off about. And Obama was calling out Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer for this. He said, you're the leaders of the party. You're the ones that have to say this is wrong, this is not right, this is wrong. So Democrats only have 8 more seats right now anyway, 220 to 212.
He better watch his back, man.
3 vacancies.
He's not in that job anymore. He's got no juice in the community.
Oh no, remember Pelosi. But remember he gave himself security for like him and George Bush.
Pelosi is the crypt keeper. So.
I don't know what Pelosi is really anymore. Most people have no respect, and now the FBI had got themselves screwed over. Somebody started talking about Pelosi's husband buying all this stock. So it's okay if Nancy buys it. Inside trading is legal. It's not illegal. Remember, we had all kind of stuff, and they swore they were going to pass bills and get rid of, which they never did. Exactly. But he's not a congressman, and for him, he took inside information from his wife and bought stock. Ooh, that's insider trading there. They put Martha Stewart in jail for 6 months for that. So I don't know. He better. And plus, he's got that DUI. That's 2 strikes in less than 6 months. This asshole might find himself in jail for a little while. And I see, he might get 4 or 5 months in one of those fancy jails. He'll never go to a real jail, but I doubt Steve Bannon will go to a real jail. He'll go to one of those rich people jails.
Ooh, look at this. A group allegedly spying on Chinese nationals had Adams as an honored guest at a gala. Well, look at that. He likes to party. Doesn't care who he parties with. Mm-hmm. That guy can't be trusted, man.
Hey, nobody in this country can be trusted right now.
Well, I'll just say it this way. His buddy there, the preacher who got robbed, live on the air when he was doing some sermon thing, and they stole $1 million of jewelry off the guy, right? That's Adams' buddy. Adams helped him start the church in Brooklyn. The guy, the guy drives Rolls Royce and all that stuff. So the dude, the guy was a transit cop, and you got to look at people who make, minimum, like not minimum wage, but low wages. Let's face it, they make low wages. You got to watch out for people like that when they get into very, very powerful political positions. As mayor of New York, he gets a little more than $250,000 a year, but he's hanging out with millionaires. He's hanging out with people that he can do favors for, and they're going to pay him. They already stopped him from appointing his good friends to big positions in NYPD and also the mayor's office, other controlling offices. And these people were convicted of fraud, before. They did jail time before. They're not honest and decent people. So it's always a battle, isn't it, of just fighting against this corruption, stealing, greed.
It's what's this? Biden student loan handout dealt a major legal blow.
Yeah, he's kind of backpedaling now, isn't
he? Yeah. Well, because it's not fair. I don't have a student loan. Where's my free money?
Hey, I had a student loan. I want my money.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people who went to other schools want their money too. I mean, come on. You can't just pick out one group and say, hey. There's a lot of Americans went to college in this country. That's just bullshit. And even ones that didn't make it. I've got several friends that, like my friend Jason, he went to MIT for about 3 years and then dropped out. I bet you he wants his money back too.
Mm-hmm. I bet he's still paying on those loans.
Yeah. Oh, here's a story for you. Well, not now, but he probably was for a while. North Carolina School District votes to forfeit game against rival after transgender athlete injures player.
What?
Really? I mean, when I can't even believe North Carolina even. So if it's a volleyball game, it's a women's volleyball game, and the player got hurt, the trans person hurt somebody because a big old guy playing with a bunch of girls.
Mm-hmm. That shouldn't be allowed, period. That's just wrong on so many levels.
They got Joe Biden's up there lying for this woman running for governor, was it Oregon, about she never voted to get rid of the cops. Bullshit. Every politician in Oregon voted to get rid of the cops. Now they're biting them in the ass because they're kind of like, really? Oh, y'all voted for this.
Crime's out of control. What do you want? It is so bad that people don't want to go to New York City anymore or Chicago. They're afraid. That's all. They're being called racist. Isn't that funny? It's funny when someone says racist because no one said anything about black people. Nobody brought it up, there's black people out of control. No, they said, I feel it's dangerous. I don't want to go.
Well, I talked to her. Sucks, and your crime rate is ridiculous. I said, people are dying all over Chicago. Innocents are dying all over, and you think she's doing a good job. I said, so let me ask you. I said, what's causing the crime rate? Some Republicans somewhere? I said, there's not even any Republicans in Chicago. I said, so you can't blame it on them. So who are you blaming it on? I said, New York City's the same way. I said, Los Angeles and San Francisco are the same way. I said, Detroit's the same way, and so is Baltimore. I said, the only thing they have in common is they're all blue cities.
You're not seeing in Chicago that you're seeing in New York, though, is the randomness of the violence in New York. For some reason, it's not as present in Chicago. It's gang violence in Chicago, things like that on a huge level. But the randomness, being pushed in front of a train, just crazy stuff that's going on in the city. These people beating each other up, and they're mainly homeless people who are out of control, mentally ill, out of control in the streets. We have failed those people as a society. They're not in good health, mental health, and they're out there hurting themselves and hurting other people. So when I think these Democrats, they come off as we care, we love, we it's kindness and whatever. That's not. It's the opposite. They're taking hard hardcore felons and releasing them into the black community or Spanish community or any
Obama
community.
said he's going to run for president again.
They're committing more crimes.
Obama did?
He said he wants Congress to pass a bill so he can run for president
No
again.
way. Get out.
You want to start a revolution in our country? Go ahead and do that. That'll start a revolution.
It's actually been proven that someone who serves 2 terms can come back after another term to run again. They would have to fight it out in court. They'd have to fight it out in court.
The law says after what's his name? The law says 2 terms. Period. That's
in
it.
The Constitution, there's an interpretation. That's all I'm saying.
No, there was an amendment to the Constitution. That's what I'm telling you. When what's his name served for 4 terms, they amended the Constitution so you could not do this again.
Unless you're under
the Democrats are in control right
by
now.
The Senate.
Yeah. The Democrats have complete control right now.
I don't think it matters. I think it'd have to be a supermajority to change a rule like that. So they couldn't do it. They'd have to have at least. You
mean like having votes. Batman come in like a super?
Yeah, no, they'd have to have way more votes than they can get their hands on. So that's a major rule. That's a rule that I don't know may even have to be.
You're talking about a party that's done anything and everything that you would normally think they could never do, and they've been doing it, and no one's stopping them either.
Oh no, I see them getting knocked back all the time. My problem with their M is it's not that they don't get penalized. They do. People in the party go to jail all the time. I mean, just Hillary's friends, at least a dozen went to jail. The problem is Hillary didn't go to jail.
Dude, I just see
all of her tech people did, or security people did.
You say party. I don't see party. I see regime. And these
regime,
people they have no interest in representing all Americans across the board equally. They just the people they compartmentalize that they can use.
The people that are rich, they can give them money.
Yeah, basically that's it.
Well, it's like the Jan 6 committee. Okay, if you're going to really do a committee to say that the president did this, that, or the other thing, then you need a bipartisan committee. They don't have a bipartisan committee. And she goes, oh, well, Liz. I said, no, Liz is not bipartisan. Liz hates Trump. I said, you put hate Trumpers on there, which automatically said, I said, matter of fact, almost everybody on that committee is a Trump hater. I said, it's not going to stand up in court. I said, you have nothing so far. You would have took him to court. I said, you don't. I said, your little committee's not going to get anything because he didn't break any laws or he didn't do anything that was illegal. You're not going to prove that he tried to take over the country because there was no military action.
Storm the building.
But what they don't understand, for him, for this to be what they said there was, he would have had to order a military action, and he didn't. There was no organized action anywhere other than a bunch of drunk people breaking some windows and stealing some laptops. And that's not considered. And most of the country does not agree with the Jan 6 committee. They don't consider it insurrection. They consider it bad losing, but they don't consider it insurrection.
It's just one side versus the other. Of course, they're pushing harder to put the emphasis on what happened, and it was an insurrection.
But the problem for them is the Jan 6 committee hurt the Democrats. It didn't help them.
They allowed it to happen.
Yeah, but as we get closer to the election, more and more people see this committee as a joke.
There's just a bunch of idiots there.
That we spent a bunch of money, $64 million so far, wasted a bunch of time for nothing that's going to come to happen. The only person that's going to jail so far is Bannon for 4 months, and he's going to get out. I mean, he wasn't even dead. It was just for Congress. And the other 2 people they put in jail, they're going to be out in less than a year. They said one guy's going to get 20 years. No, he got 2 years, and they told me good behavior probably be out 8 months.
So I mean, if I was Secret Service or Capitol Police, I would have been laying people up like cordwood. You know what I mean? I mean, like, you don't just storm Congress and think you're going to get in there and get at these politicians.
If you look at the videos, Michael, they were overwhelmed. The security forces that were in the building, maybe there was a dozen. There's 500 people in there.
Doesn't matter. They had plenty of bullets. You know, and then dude, you don't know people, man.
Had 3 magazines, 45, 50 bullets.
You shoot the first few, the rest of them are going to run. They're not going to be there to lose their lives. They're going to say, like, oh my God, people are getting shot. I'm out of here. You have to understand the human mentality, and especially in a situation like that, they thought they're going to go in there and goof around. No, man. You start laying some people out, like the Capitol Police. That's their job, you know, and Secret Service.
They can't shoot anyone unless they're trying to kill someone first, and no one was trying to kill him.
No. You're trying to get Congress into the halls. They were already there. They're trying to gain access to these politicians with threats against them. No, your job is to protect their lives. You can definitely lay people out. I know the rules.
Well, you can knock them out, and you can use tear gas. You can't go around killing them unless they're trying to kill you.
I know the rules, man, and you certainly can when you're protecting the lives of these people.
Yeah,
that's the deal.
Let me tell you
they're
what.
Protected. We're not protected.
If you would have killed anybody there that day, if the cops would have killed a bunch of people that day, they'd be in prison.
No, because they were told to stand down. They were told to let them in.
No.
They got into a certain point,
That's
and that
not
was
true,
it. That's
Michael.
that's when they started shooting.
That's
when they started shooting. They got to a certain
true.
point. That woman died, and the other guy. That's when they started shooting.
The only person I know that died got hit in the head with a
She
fucking
tried to
fire
get into
extinguisher.
the actual Congress area where the congressmen were. But
I saw the video. She was outside. These guys. There was a door, and the glass was broken, and they were shooting through the glass.
They shot one woman, and she died. And because she was trying to get into where the senators were, that's the only time he was.
Right. And what was her intention? What was her intention to get in there? To have a conversation?
I trained to be a policeman for 2 years out of high school. Now, for 2 years in high school, I was a police explorer. I rode around with the Rockville City Police. I still know a couple of them. One of my best friends from high school is still a Rockville City policeman. I took 2 years in college to become a detective. There are certain rules to when you can discharge your gun. You cannot discharge your gun. Someone is trying to kill you.
A police officer is
but that wasn't Secret Service, though.
They are two different worlds.
That was a Washington PD there, not Secret Service.
That was Capitol. It was a Capitol Police officer.
Capitol Police, which is
that's not Secret Service.
They're sworn in by Secret Service to protect Congress.
Oh, they're run by the mayor. Matter of fact, the way it actually works is Nancy Pelosi technically has control. She can tell the mayor what to do. They belong to the mayor. They belong to the mayor. They're just regular old cops. And
Pelosi had control of the whole situation, didn't she?
Under the D.C. police, but they can be the leader of the Senate.
Well, now you're right. They're saying people want Boris back. They're people want him back. They're like, come back.
Yeah, because things are messed up.
Yeah, like come back.
He's like Trump's,
it was great
Trump's cousin.
The NBC and ABC were trying to say that Trump's lost momentum and he's not really doing rallies anymore. Well, Obama was talking about it a few minutes ago. He said, "Well, Trump's rallies last 3 days have been huge." He said, "I don't know what Obama came out and said, I don't know what they're talking about. He seems to be gaining momentum to me." So Obama's actually trying to be honest with the Democrats and say, "Look, you're not paying attention. You're listening to the fake news, and you're not paying attention to what's really going on. That's why you're going to lose."
He's not
watching. He's trying to wake them up, but nobody cares because everybody forgets. The people don't, but everybody else forgets. All the politicians and all the media forgets. The reason Donald Trump got elected was because of
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. That's why he got elected.
And Hillary.
And Hillary.
Fundamentally unlikable.
I agree with you, but that's it. And if Obama gets out there and starts speeching again, he's going to make it even easier for him to get reelected. So, and if Boris comes back and makes a comeback, I don't know, Trump might too.
They'll take those clips of him saying the woke thing doesn't work. You got to stop the cancel culture and all that. They're going to make those into political ads. You're going to see them ad nausea everywhere, man. Because that's the guy.
I want to see him put Donald Trump in jail. So Donald Trump formally subpoenaed by the January 6th committee. Donald Trump's going to refuse to speak.
He would do great in prison.
Well, no, but I want to see him put him in prison. I don't think the Democrats have any idea what will happen if you lock Donald Trump up in prison. You will turn every middleist. You just can't go putting the president in jail because you think he needs to go there.
You'd have to make a reality show out of it.
Oh man, it would be unbelievably insane, is what it would be. I would not want to live where any Democrats lived if they try that.
Well, you get woodchucks will be all pissed off. I think a lot of people are jumping ship and they're going for DeSantis, man. He seems the more legitimate guy. He's not a hothead. He can keep things together. He's proved himself to be a good leader, and he's not polarized.
Secondary appeals court tells
Biden
he's
automatically going to meet resistance. Trump is, but
he's always going to meet resistance because people hate him. Federal appeals court temporarily blocks Biden's student loan. Secondary court says don't submit it to us. We'll block it too.
Do any of us like Trump? I don't like Trump.
I like Trump just fine. I don't like his arrogance, but I like Trump as a leader.
I like some of the stuff he did, but
look, all I know is he told Kim Jong-un, "You fire another rocket, I'm gonna put one up your ass." Kim could quit shooting him. He told Xi Jinping, "Stop putting shit here or else." So the whole entire time he was president, Xi Jinping stopped putting weapons out in the sea. Now they're putting them again. Russia said, "Oh well, we might want to." He said, "No, ain't no invading under my watch."
They're not just putting them, dude. Have you watch what's going on? One landed in the business district there in Japan. One of the rockets didn't have any ordnance on it, and another one was shot over Japan. But then the other day, they had two English not fighters, but they were like surveillance craft. Ukraine, Russia shot a missile from another plane that was shadowing them for a couple hours. and then they said it was a technical difficulty, a technical problem that the missile got shot at these unarmed craft. By the way, they were unarmed craft. So all over the world, you got people acting crazy. Trump kept him in check because he's nuts, and you can't out crazy that kind of crazy. He's a billionaire and he's nuts. I mean, there's no rules for him. And that's the way he kind of.
The same thing happened under Reagan. The whole world was afraid of him pushing that button and dropping nukes on him. So the world was a lot more peaceful, 35, 40 years ago. You're absolutely right. You put a nutcase in the office, things quiet down. You put a weak, easily puppeted idiot like Biden, and then the whole world goes to hell.
I hate to say that was Reagan who was the weak puppet. I mean, who's that guy? What's that guy from the Rockford Files? That dude.
James Garner.
James Garner. So James Garner did a whole thing about Reagan, because when they made Reagan head of the Actors Guild for a while, he said he couldn't make a decision on his own. He had to have people advise him for everything. He was just barely there.
That's mentally. How a good president should be. You should have everybody advising you and then making your decision.
I know Trump wasn't like that.
He didn't need that. Trump was kind of like that too. But
Trump was in control, man. He was in control.
And that's why he's asked.
He still had advisors. He wasn't making decisions.
Yeah, but he had advisors, but he didn't necessarily listen to them. You know what I mean?
You had the best. Reagan was the best president in the world for one reason. You know what it was? Daddy Bush was his VP.
Trump collapsed ISIS within 5 months of him taking office, man. 5 months. We were.
Yeah, and Reagan collapsed Iran within 1 day of taking office.
I think they made a deal, dude. Come on, there was a deal before.
Nobody wanted to mess with Reagan. You forget he was governor of California for 8 years, and he was a damn good governor.
Carter was a nightmare. He ran Carter made a lot of. It was a huge mess.
There was a back channel.
Carter made a lot of mistakes because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. But
yeah, Carter was just awful.
But Reagan already showed he was a tough governor. He wasn't putting up with any bullshit. The state was doing fabulous economic wise, everything wise. The state was doing great. That's why he won so easily. Plus, Carter made a complete mess of the hostages. But Reagan told them, he said, if they're not returned by the time I'm president, we're coming to get them. And he meant it. We were coming to get them.
There's a lot.
That's why Iran was like, "Well, screw this."
Shenanigans that went on there, man. So I don't know.
I think there was a back channel deal on that. But also, Carter didn't really mess up the hostages. What he did was he gave the generals, Joint Chiefs, the go ahead to go rescue them. Jungle-equipped helicopters through the desert. And the sand that they kicked up with their wings, with their helicopter blades.
All the sand,
the engines, and they crashed in the desert.
Did you watch that documentary on that? That was amazing.
Yeah,
of how stupid the whole thing was.
Right. Had they sent the equipment, Reagan's little threat wouldn't have made anything, and the election may have gone the other way.
They landed him on a highway, like a normal highway. They thought it was a remote area. It turns out like the busiest road. So they had to start taking their own hostages, people in buses going by, saying like, "What's all this army stuff going on?" That was funny, man. Funny but sad. I was just a wee child during that thing, man.
But you see, any way that goes, that falls on who the president. You're the commander in chief.
Mm-hmm.
That nobody that. And we lost a bunch of people in those helicopters when they burned up on the ground. It was a bad deal all the way around. It made a bad deal even worse. And they weren't doing that great on the economy. We looked weak amongst the world. I mean, Carter, he was a decent governor for Georgia, but he wasn't really the guy who ran the country. I mean, he was a peanut farmer.
He was a peanut farmer. But I'll tell you about that whole thing. There was a lot of people that didn't want Carter to be successful in saving these people. I'm just going to say it just like that.
They badmouthed him a lot throughout his campaign or throughout his administration. It painted him as like the dumb redneck Georgia hick. The dude was actually one of the very first nuclear engineers we had on our nuclear submarines way, 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 way back when he was a young man. So he's not an idiot.
No, he wasn't. He just didn't. For some reason, he just couldn't seem to get a good solid footing in the White House.
Yeah.
Want to help Iran protesters? Lift the sanctions. Only Democrats would think lifting the sanctions, giving Iran all that money, would help the protesters. How is that going to help the protesters? It's going to help Iran rack the protesters under control to give them more money to spend.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats, I mean, I know you're ignorant, but get up, grow up. I don't know what world you're living in. It's like you're living in some fantasy world that doesn't exist.
They need access to information. That's what people need for these protests and all that. They need access to each other, access to info. Like Elon Musk with his Starlink. They need access. That's all. They need access. There's a huge protest going on. I mean, Iran, there's a revolution going on in Iran.
I know. That's what we were just talking about. That's what they were saying. Give them the money, give them all the sanction money back, and cut the sanctions, and that'll help the protest. That's not going to help the protest. That's going to help the country to keep the protests under control.
They got to cut the balls off of the theocracy is the thing.
Iran's government just needs to go. It's been needing to go for a long time, but the U.S. for some reason don't want to force it. Man charged with hate crimes for allegedly cutting internet cable of people he thought were undocumented immigrants. Okay, now I understand why you want to call this a hate crime, but it's a cable. I mean, what kind of hate crime is this? I'm keeping you from having internet.
No MTV for you.
I mean, I understand. I mean, it's more ignorant than it is a hate crime.
Money back to Colombia.
It just shows you how ignorant people really are. Oh, Republican committee sues Google over email spam filters. Okay, I'm not sure what the hell that's about.
If they're criminals, you want them to stay in anyway and watch TV so they're not roaming the streets causing problems, man. You cut their cable, they're going to be out everywhere. But there's a lot of racism going on. There's a lot of craziness going on. What happened to Britney